Om Shanti. Today I will first share an experience I had yesterday, and it was very interesting. So there is this woman who called up on this phone in the center, and she asked me that she has some chronic backache and whether it can be cured by doing the Raj Yoga course. And I said, no, I don't think so. It works like that. So it's not for backache, but this Raj Yoga course is about knowing God. And in brief, I told her that it is God Himself who has come from the soul world, and He's talking, and we are His children. So that's what the course is about. So she said, okay, I don't mind that, but will my backache get cured? So I said, I told you it doesn't work like that. So it's about you knowing your parent, your father, God. And then she said, okay, so I don't think I'll undertake the course. So I was just thinking about this. You see that that it is very interesting that even if you are told, I understand that you will have your doubts about whether what is told is right or not, but you will only figure that out if you take a chance. Yes, if you have to experiment. That's beside the point. But the thing is, she clearly told me she's not interested in God. She's only interested in her backache getting removed. So that was very interesting. And probably I asked her all the right questions to figure that out. So I was thinking about this whole incident from that time it happened, and I was just thinking about what are our relationships based on. So every relationship that we have in and around us, I'm not just talking about our relationship with Baba, because what I have understood is everything that we do with Baba is based on our sanskar. So let's check what my sanskar is about every relationship that I have in and around you, in and around myself. So are all my relationships based on what I'm getting from them at this point of time? Or is my relationship based on recognition and love based on recognition? So there are these two ways in which we can think about relationships, and this is your food for thought today. So when you recognize, you see, this is my father, and this is my mother, and this is my sister, and this is my spouse or my child, you recognize that one, and then do you accept them unconditionally and wholeheartedly as they are, because you have recognized them that they are who they are? And then when you recognize them and that relationship is based on that recognition and then complete acceptance and then pure love in that relationship, then that recognition and that love becomes a strength. Do you get it? So if you recognize that this one is my father, and even if he's not doing all the things right, or maybe he's not meeting my expectation all the time, but I trust that he must be doing his best. Okay, he must be doing his best, then it gives you a lot of power. Do you understand? Even the power to tolerate, or the power to face whatever you are not getting as a favorable situation, or you are not getting from that relationship. You are able to deal with that because you know that because of that recognition and trust, you understand they are doing their best, and then whatever they can't do, you deal with that power of love. Yes, so that's how it works. So with Baba, so Baba is teaching us. Now we don't have all those sanskars right now. So mostly these days our relationships are based on, what we are getting in that relationship. And this is why these relationships are not lasting too much, because as soon as we stop getting what we used to be getting, or what we intended to get in that relationship, then that relationship starts changing. Yes, and I remember I had a friend in childhood, and her father was working with a prestigious company, and then he one day had this thought that he wanted to pursue something else. And then he left the job, he just quit, and he came home. And then when he came home, he was greeted by flustered wife and and flustered daughters, and everybody was very flustered with him, because they were not happy with the way he quit. And then I was there in that time during that conversation. I was present there, so that's why I remember this scene. And then this his wife, she told him, you didn't think about us when you quit the job. And then the father, he spoke something very nice. He said, did you teach me to think about you? I thought about you, and while I was in the job, and you didn't teach me to do that, so I know how to think about you. The only thing is you have to trust I think about you people. And then I remember he struggled and labored, and he had some dream, and then he fulfilled it eventually. And there was a period of struggle, but then they did very well after 5 to 7 years, and they were really taken care of in a better way. But that trust had to be there, and even and I saw that that trust wasn't there, because only after 5 to 7 years they started believing in him. So for every single day of those 5 to 7 years, and I was part of the group, so I was almost an extended family. So I always used to hear, I don't know what this madman is doing, and when he will abandon us, and I don't know what's going on in his mind, and all of these things we used to hear. And then it paid off after 5 to 7 years, and then everybody said, oh, that was a very good decision, and it was very right of him to quit that job that was anyways not suited for him, and all of that. So why am I telling you all this is because this recognition that you are a soul, and now you have Baba with you. So my father is the Almighty, He's the All Powerful, He's the ocean of knowledge, He's the ocean of love, He's the ocean of purity, He's the most discerning one. And do you recognize that this is Baba? So Baba gives you his introduction through the Murli. Baba gives his introduction through the behavior of his, the Nimit souls. So you meet the family and you understand that this is the family that Baba has created. And then you see Baba's work, you see Baba's intention, you see when you read the Murli, you get a glimpse of who he is and what he wants. And then slowly, gradually, there is this recognition of who he is and who you are. Now, I want you to today think about whether you have fully recognized Baba. So, have you fully recognized that you are a soul and this is Shiv Baba, God, who has come from the supreme soul, from the soul world, and the Murli and every word in the Murli is spoken by that supreme soul. Have you recognized that? How many of you have recognized that? That this, I am a soul and this is my Baba. So, and others have not recognized. Okay. Or have you recognized, but you still don't want to? Because, there is this, you always want to have, so, there is this thing called, you want to give the benefit of doubt always, or the advantage of doubt sometimes. People think it is very advantageous to doubt, but it is not. So, those who have recognized, ask yourself deeply and don't spend too much time in recognizing. Yes, so that's also, so sometimes, your heart tells you this is the one, and then you say, no, I don't know whether he's the one. Let me keep looking. So don't let your heart drive you in that direction. So if you have had that recognition, which I'm sure you've had, because in this Kali Yuga, you cannot continue in this class if, if you have not had that glimpse. So don't wait for anything else. Just recognize that this is the one. And then on the basis of that recognition, trust and surrender. Yes, trust and surrender. You must trust that when you recognize Baba and you have surrendered to Baba, how do you surrender? You give up on your old ways. When you surrender, you give up on your old ways of thinking, your old lifestyle, your old ways of being, your old ways of spending, your old ways of behaving, and you adopt what he's telling you as the new way to be, the new way to think, the new awareness that he's giving you. And Baba says, when you do that and you surrender, you have to have that deep trust that you are being taken care of. And from my personal experience, I know that once I recognized and surrendered, automatically I had this deep, unexplained trust that I am being taken care of. And there is no reason, even I had physical accidents after that. I had, injuries after that. I had obstacles after that. Everything was there. It's not that it wasn't there. But never from inside my heart did this feeling skip that I am being taken care of. I always felt that I am with Baba and we are going through this together. I never felt that Baba has left me and I'm dealing with this alone. And I had enough always, whatever it required to deal it with, I had enough resources, enough strength, enough, physical strength. I had enough support. I had enough money whenever I needed it to deal with the situation. So I always had this deep feeling that I'm not in it alone after I recognized and surrendered. And Baba says, this is, I am yours and I am taking care of you. But there are 63 births of pending karmic accounts, and you will have to settle them. It's not like I can just, take you off from them. You have to settle them, but you will not be in it alone. I am there with you. So you will feel my presence, my support, everything while you settle them. If you have surrendered yourself to me, if you've really surrendered yourself, then you will feel that support. And I will share one incident with you. You see, there is so much of seva in this center, and it cannot, if I think about it today, that I spend 1 month without going into the kitchen, so into the bhandara. So if I think about, taking 1 month off from the bhandara and not, doing any seva in the bhandara, I can't think about it. It's unimaginable because there's so much seva, you always have to pitch in. But I had this thing with my hand, and I went through some problem with the hand, and I couldn't use my hand for some time. And there were this family from Mount Abu who was there, and they it was in the drama. It was not like I had requested them to come, and they had come from Mount Abu. And at that time there was this family which had 4 souls who could take care of the bhandara all the time. And then at that time I had this issue with my hand, and for 1 month I just sat and ate. There was nothing I had to do. I didn't have to pitch in, and I really got 1 month off so that my hand could recover. And it was all in the drama. So, and then I have seen so many incidents like this. It's not that there is no illness or there is no obstacle, but I get the right kind of support, the right kind of environment in which I could actually deal with it and overcome it. And this faith and this happiness that, I'm being taken care of was always there. But it came from these two things. One is deep recognition of who you are, and this deep recognition of Baba, who is actually and very practically with you today. And then this surrender, this exchange. And in the Murli today, Baba says that you have heard stories of Shri Krishna giving palaces of, studded with gold and diamonds to Sudama in exchange for 2 handfuls of rice. Yes, but Baba says, so there is an exchange always. So he didn't give him palaces without anything. He gave something that was of no value, but then there was an exchange. And Baba says that, but nobody tells you that it was not just palaces studded with gold and diamonds for 1 birth. It was for 21 births. And Baba says, I give you this big exchange, but you have to surrender everything old. You have to surrender your old body, mind, wealth, relationships, everything to me. And we have come to the recognition that this old whatever old we have is very worthless. Yes, and in this COVID time, we saw that very wealthy people died because they didn't have oxygen. Yes, so you understand that all your wealth cannot buy you a cylinder of oxygen when you are in need. And all your wealth cannot help you help you get the right kind of help that you required at that right time. And you understand that your body can fail you anytime. And you understand that your mind is anyways of no use. It only adds to the problem, doesn't take away from the problem. But what is the problem with surrendering these? So Baba says, even when I ask you to surrender your body, mind, and wealth, and I use it, and I ask you to use it for spiritual growth and for seva, why don't you do that? Why do you make excuses? Why do you allow your lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed to come in the way? Why do you allow your old sanskars of miserliness and mistrust and other stuff or selfishness to come in the way? So Baba says, just see, this is such a good exchange offer. And Baba says, in bhakti you call me Bholanath, the innocent Lord, because I'm this innocent. This is the kind of exchange offer I'm giving you. But if you can't even do that much, then you have not recognized me and you have not surrendered to me. Yes, and until you surrender the old, how will I give you the new? Yes, how will I give you the new? You don't surrender your old body, I cannot give you energy, I cannot give you strength. You don't surrender your mind, you keep using your mind to think about that same old stuff. I cannot empower your mind. If you're using your wealth to create the same vikarma you used it to create earlier, I cannot fill your treasure houses with wealth. So Baba says, until you use it on my direction, I cannot make it better. So this is the exchange offer. And Baba says, I'm not giving this for one birth, it's for 21 births. But you have to recognize who is telling you. And when God speaks, you don't doubt. You do as He says. And then He shows you that what He showed me, that this deep feeling that you're never alone will be there. And this experience that you will cross everything with your hand in hand with Baba, and everything will look like an experience. So do you understand that after surrender to Baba, everything has become an experience that can be shared in the class? It's not an experience that you want to forget and you get traumatized remembering it. It's an experience you want people to know. Everything becomes that kind of an experience. So Baba says, this is what is Baba's Srimad, recognize and surrender, and in exchange He gives you everything for 21 births. And today Baba is also talking about one very interesting thing, which is the drama. And I told you that when I was sharing that experience about the family being here and taking care of the seva while my hand needed to recuperate, that it all happened according to drama. Now they were there at the right time, and then I was in that facing that time at that same time. It all happened according to drama. And what does it mean it happened according to drama? So you see, today Baba is telling us something very interesting. Baba says, the Father tells you the secrets of the drama in a nutshell. He cannot give a detailed explanation of the drama. It would take years to explain about each one individually. So you understand that every event, every second in the drama is connected to every previous second in the drama. Yes, now let's take a very simple example. It's a very simplistic way of approaching the issue. The issue is very big. Now, someday you get late for class, and I ask you, why did you get late? So you said, oh, Didi, actually, I woke up late today. So I said, oh, so you don't do Amrit Vela and you're not a good student, and why did you wake up late? So said, no, Didi, there's a reason behind it, and there were some guests who had come at night and they left late. So I said, okay, so you don't have regard for Baba Srimad, and you didn't, even if there were guests, you could have slept at 10, you could have bid them farewell. And they said, no, Didi, it's not like that. They had an ailing person in the hospital, and then there were things to be done, and that was not something we could avoid. And so I said, okay, so then you did it, and then you should have cut short your sleep. And then you say, no, previous day I had to give some duty in the hospital also. So now you see every one event, and then if I go back to why serving that person was so important, then your whole karmic journey of how you are obliged to that person would come up. Yes, and then why do you have that obligation or that emotional attachment? That can be explained only through that whole karmic journey of 5,000 years. So if you see, no single event is actually a single event. And there is a whole lot of a 5,000 year story because of which that event is what it is. And Baba has given us a very simple way to understand this, which is Baba says, everything that happens is there in the drama. And what does it mean it's there in the drama? It means that that whole journey of 5,000 years of reaction and action is what has brought that one event about. And then Baba says, don't go thinking about its causes because it's too complicated. And so Baba has given us this tool that whenever you are faced with an event, just do one thing. Accept it that this is the only possible event in this second. It could not have been different because it is the result of this large permutation combination problem solved, this whole permutation combination of 5,000 years, which has been solved to bring about this 1 second. And it could not have been different. So never go into if it had been like this. So Baba says, understand what drama is. So every second is based on this whole other second in the 5,000 years, and every second has a repercussion on the next 5,000 years. So it's all intertwined, and that's why it's all identically repeating. You cannot mess with it. You cannot mess with it. It's all very prefixed kind of thing. Prefixed and getting prefixed every second. So you're creating it to again get prefixed every second. So Baba says, don't go into why and how of the drama, because the drama is very complicated. So, what you do with every second is you trust that it is based on this whole big karmic journey. And what you do is you don't ask why and how, first thing. Accept it totally. And then, second thing is be thankful that you have so much of knowledge today that you can deal with everything that's coming your way. So have acceptance of what is. Be grateful for what you've got from Baba, and that's more than enough to deal with it. And then third thing, deal with it. Yes. So Baba has given us this beautiful understanding of how everything in the drama is what it is based on this whole karmic journey. So don't try to understand. There are some people who run to past life regression experts to understand why their mother-in-law is like this, or the husband is like this, or the wife is like this. Okay, you go to one expert, they will tell you that this person you were the mother-in-law in the last birth, and then you tortured this person. So now they have come to torture you, or blah, 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 whatever they'll tell you. Now, does that solve all your problems? Because your mother-in-law is not the only problem. There are several things. There are 2,000 things that are coming in one day. Would you run to the expert for every explanation? And what if you got all the explanations? What if you knew all the causes? What then? That problem is still there at hand, waiting to be solved. So Baba says, don't go into these things. Don't go hankering after these people who tell you why it is so, and don't go hankering after people who tell you what will happen in the future. Baba says, take every second, accept it totally, because there is a reason why it is so. And that's the law of drama. Nothing is happening without a reason. And when you accept it totally and then recognize that Baba has given you all that you need, the understanding, the virtues, the powers to deal with it, then you feel more powerful than the situation. And then it becomes very small. And then you just deal with it. So that's the way you approach a situation. And this is what Baba is saying in the blessing today. Baba says, each day revise the points of knowledge that are in your diary or in your intellect. So even if you know the points, revise them. Because you've heard the Murli, but then you've forgotten the Murli and the point when the situation has come up. So Baba says, even if you've noted them in your intellect or you've noted them in your diary, whatever it is, revise them and experience them. And how will you experience? When you apply them. Experiment and experience go in hand. So if you apply them to the situations in the day, you will experience them. And you will easily be able to find a solution to any type of problem. Never waste your time in trying to break the rock of problems with the hammer of waste thoughts. And what is a waste thought? Any thought that starts with a why and if and but and and what if, yes, that's a waste thought. And in Hindi we say ka ki bhasha, kab, kyun, kya, kaise, kaun, kaha. So mama used to say, if you do ka all day, you become a kawa, crow. So, so Baba says, don't do that. I'm making you a Hans. I'm making you a swan. Don't turn into a crow. So whenever something comes, just remember what Baba told you and deal with it. Take a high jump over them with the awareness of the word drama and move forward. Remember the knowledge of the drama and just move forward. And what is the high jump? The high jump is acceptance. So the whole problem arises when you're resisting something and you're not accepting it. So Baba says, when you remember that this is how the drama is, then you accept it, and that's like the highest jump which you need to cross that rock of the problem. Those old sanskars will then become your servants. Which old sanskars? These old sanskars of creating waste thought in every moment. These will then go away. But first become an emperor and be seated on the heart throne. And Baba's heart is full of knowledge, peace, love, courage. So Baba says, first sit there. Don't go into doubt, don't go into questioning. Every time there is a problem, you go and sit on Baba's heart throne. And you realize who you are and how powerful you are. And then the problem doesn't look like a problem anymore. The slogan is, to give regard and respect to each one is to receive regard and respect. And you see, you all want acceptance. So everybody wants to be accepted the way they are. And you don't feel good when somebody questions you or doubts you. So I think that's the greatest form of regard, total acceptance and not doubting anybody's intention or word or anything, that's regard. And Baba says, if you do that to others, then others will do that back for you. If you are always sowing that seed of doubt, then what you will get is a plant of doubt. If you doubt everybody, they will doubt you back. So you give the regard, you give the respect. And the highest form of respect and regard is acceptance that they intend well. So even if you are not able to discern why they did what they did, just have this acceptance that maybe they intended well. Yes, so this one form of regard, if you give somebody, then Baba says you will get that back. And don't ask for regard. Just give regard and you will get that. This is one form of regard. Any form of regard you want people to greet you, greet them, they will greet you back. Yes, you want people to offer you a chair, you offer them first, they will offer you back. Yes, you tell you sat on my chair, they will say you also sat on my chair. So that's the way it works. So Baba says, whatever you want, the only way to get it is give it first. Okay. Om Shanti.